Hello, I'm Dave Nichols with Nichols Lures. Today I've had the opportunity to fish with a friend of mine and fishing guide, Rick Loomis, on the famous Lake Fork in East Texas. And Rick's going to show us how to gear up and get ready to fish our Nichols Lake Fork flutter spoon. Rick, show us what we need to do to get ready to go.
Hey Dave, you know what we're going to do today? We're going spooning. That don't mean we're going hugging. You know,
That's right.
I always heard the spooning was like hugging, but today we're going to go catch some big fish, we hope. And what we're doing is, we got on this bait a couple years ago, and it's these big 5-inch spoons, 4.5-inch spoons, and man, it's just an awesome bait. We throw swim baits over here and caught fish on them, but you know, these fish see baits after baits, and we've seen these baits really, the shad on this lake, this is a perfect bait for the shad that's on this lake. And so some of the fish that we see out here are spitting up shad, and they look just like this spoon. But what we're going to do is tell you a little bit about how we're fishing this bait. One thing is, I use 17-pound test line, monofilament, and the reason for that is these fish over here, these Florida bass, have really sharp teeth, so they can actually cut your line if you're using a 12 or 14-pound test line. So if we get a big fish on, we really want the opportunity to catch that fish. The other deal is, of course, the rod. We've tried different types of rods, and the one thing that really seems to work best is a medium light rod. And the reason is, you don't want to tear these fish's mouth. These are some big fish, and they're going to pull. But what you want to do is, this is almost like throwing a big 1-ounce rattle trap. I mean, the weight of it. So if you ever tear their mouth, it's pretty tough to, you're not going to keep these fish from jumping. So they're going to jump on Lake Fork. And right, it could be a 10 or 12 pounder or even bigger. But you really try not to keep them tearing their mouth. So a lighter action rod, you get a bite, you want to, you hit them, and then you can even possibly hit them again, but you want to be easy where you take a heavy action rod and you really rip them hard. You're going to tear that mouth, they may come up and throw the bait. But it's, you know, it's a good combination. 17, like especially here, we have some timber. We have to fish around some timber sometime. There are some trees around, so if they do get us hung up, we still have a chance to get them. The other deal is you get these fish on out here, as soon as they come up and they see this boat, they're fixing to go back down. So what we really plan on doing, you got to be ready for that. As soon as they get close to the boat, you really need to be ready to really thumb your spool. But if you let them take off and run, they're going to try to head for the tree that they can get to, and you might not get them out. But it's a fun way to fish, and you get on a big school of these fish, I mean, it's unreal. You may catch, that's what we're really doing, is we're actually fishing for a school of fish. Right. So once we find these fish, it's not trying to pick one fish off a stump or one fish off a tree. We're trying to get into a school of them and catch numbers of fish, and lots of times that's what's happened, that you pull up there and you graft these fish, and once you get them grafted, you know, you get to work on them, and you may catch 7 or 8 or 10 in one spot. If these fish want to take off, oh, I knew I should.
Everybody's ready to go fishing.
Everybody wants to go fishing. As a matter of fact, that's Louisiana calling.
That's right, there you go.
Time out.
All right.
Hey Dave, I'm sorry about that, man. Hey, you know what? Great. This spoon fishing is really taking off, and a lot of people are wanting to spoon fish. So that was actually a guy from Louisiana talking about coming spoon fishing.
That's great.
Dave, I just got a question to you. You know, there's very few baits that have this kind of I call it a hologram. I think that's what you call it a lot. But how'd you come up with this finish?
Well, let me show you, Rick, what we did here. This goes back 20 years. Basically, what we did, we started out with like the metal flake finish. I've got a patent on, as you can see on my pulsator spinnerbait, I've had since 1990, and it has the glitter or metal flake finishes. And then what we did, we went from the spinnerbait, we went to a topwater lure like our Popular, and then we also had our jigs, and then all the way to the spoons. So we've even had spoons since 1992 called Mojo spoons. And then in 1992, me and a friend came up, we got this hologram finish off of baseball cards. And so the same thing happened there. We went on to like our rattle shads type baits that we have, and then also we have some of our topwater Popular, like this bait, and then we went all the way down to our Lake Fork flutter spoons. And we've had these now for about 2 years, and it's just a finish that we've got. And the shattered glass, I know, is one finish you like, and basically what these are, it's on a hammered finish, has a hologram finish over it, we call it shattered glass, and then with a clear coat over that to protect the finish. So they withstand a lot of destruction. They try to destroy the baits. Anyway, we also have them available in 4-inch spoons and 2 1/4-inch spoons. So that's basically a transition over a period of 20 years, different finishes we've had on different products.
Hey Dave, we got all the right setup, we got the right bait, we got the right rods and reels. What are we gonna do next?
Well, let's go catch some of those Lake Fork lunkers, or toads as you call them.
There you go. Let's go see if we can catch a big one.
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
All right.